Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin. Today what I have for you guys is another Fortnite tips and tricks video. In today's video, I'm going to be covering everything you guys need to know about sensitivity. Common questions are always, what sensitivity do you use? What should I be using? What's the difference between this and this? And the settings are kind of confusing on Fortnite. So this video should basically clear it up, talk about the advantages and the disadvantages to different settings, either putting them up or down. And this is for console players, Xbox One and PS4 mainly. If you guys could smack a like on this video, that would be really amazing. Let's go for 700 likes. I would really appreciate that if we could hit that. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We're over 140,000 subscribers, which has been insane. You guys have been smashing the like button, subscribing to the channel, and just appreciate all of the support. As far as this video, I'm going to be covering console settings because, of course, that's what I've played on both. I played on PC, I played on consoles, but I'm most familiar with PS4, and that's where I play most of the time. So that's what I'm going to cover. Now, let's talk about the different settings. Basically, there is 4 complete settings in this game as far as sensitivity for the controller. When you go to your settings and you see that it says mouse sensitivity here, mouse sensitivity that, a lot of people think that affects it. It literally has no effect if you are using a controller. It's kind of weird why they, leave in on the console the option for keyboard settings and controller, and the same with the PC, I guess, because maybe some people are plugging in keyboards or plugging in controllers to the PC. But the things that you need to worry about are wireless controller sensitivity X, wireless controller sensitivity Y, mouse ADS sensitivity, and mouse scope sensitivity. Those are all the things that you're going to have to worry about. I'm going to talk about what they mean and the advantages and disadvantages to doing different things with each of them. Now, first of all, wireless controller sensitivity X and Y. X is basically your X axis, which means side to side, moving horizontally, and Y will mean vertical, up and down. It'll be on that Y axis. So the thing around these is you can have these from anywhere to 1 to 10 on these sensitivities. Now, what I thought at first is that when you move them up and down within a certain number, it would save. Unfortunately, you don't really have that much customization because when you save changes and go back, it just resets. So if I had mine at like 5.7 or 5.9 or whatever, I click save changes, it just goes right back to 5. So you basically only have those options between 1 and 10. Most players you'll find will play on anywhere between a 4 and an 8, and that is very common. Now, here are the advantages to this. This basically, what these settings are, most of the time you're going to want X and Y to be the same number. If you want to get freaky with it and you want to try something fancy, which I don't recommend, but if you're an advanced player, you can go for it. You would probably want to have your X maybe 1 to 2 points higher than your Y, just so you can build faster by moving the X axis, and you don't really have to move the Y axis much in this game, except for when people are jump padding or using hop rocks, which is a lot rarer than moving side to side. But that's only if you want to get freaky with it. Most of the time, I would recommend for 99% of people, keep the X and the Y on the same number. Now, me personally, I use 5, which is a bit of a boring number. Some people would say that's a low sensitivity. Technically, that is your average sensitivity, of course, 5 out of 10. I've heard a lot of people that I know personally play between 5 to 7, and I like 5 because it basically gives me the blend of what this is going to affect. It is going to affect how you move around your character and your sight, basically when you're not aimed down sights, when you're not scoped in or anything like that. So what this will affect in the main point is it will affect building, it will affect setting up your crosshair and setting up shots on people, and it will affect your shotgun fights, because in shotgun fights most of the time you're going to be hip firing on people. Sometimes you'll be aiming down sights, but most of the shotgun fight is going to take place with a hip fire. So those are things that it affects. Having a high sensitivity right here will make you a better builder. It will make it so you can swipe faster. So if someone shoots you, you can turn around and build faster and block off a wall. That is just a fact. Having higher right there will make you a better builder. On the opposite side of that, it will make it harder to set up your crosshairs on people before you're scoped in, and it will make it harder to win shotgun fights. In shotgun fights, it will make it easier to turn on players or snap on them, but as far as being accurate with the shotgun, it will make it harder. So what I recommend on this sensitivity is you want to go as high as you are comfortable with, but not too high where you are missing your shots. So personally, I might be able to go a little bit higher on my sensitivity if I wanted to, but I'm comfortable at a 5, and if it's not broke, don't bother fixing it. If you want to be able to build a little bit faster, to be able to create 4 walls around you a little faster, turn around and snap walls down in those build battles, sure, try upping your sensitivity. But say you play on a 5 and you up it, you want to go one at a time. You up it to a 6, you're comfortable. You up it to a 7 and you're sort of uncomfortable missing shotgun shotgun shots, go back down to a 6 and find that sweet spot. My recommendation for that, to find your perfect sensitivity, because we're all different. I've always been someone that traditionally, you know, whether it's Call of Duty or whatever, plays on that sort of mid-range settings. Some people always play on a 10 or the highest sensitivity. So it's different for each person. My recommendation for that is don't follow the settings of someone, you know, like just because I use a 5 doesn't mean you should use a 5. At the same time, I recommend testing out different sensitivities, and then once you find one you like, stick with it. The sensitivity is not going to be the cause of your error most of the time, and rarely do I die because my sensitivity is 5. It's very minimal changes. As long as you're comfortable is all that matters, and that's what I would recommend. Try to go a bit higher, but as soon as you get uncomfortable, drop it down and stick to that. That's what I would say as far as that, and those are the benefits as far as that sensitivity. Next one you're going to have to deal with is the the controller ADS sensitivity. Now, what the controller ADS sensitivity is basically is when you're aimed down sights with any gun other than a gun with a scope, which will be your scope sensitivity, which I will talk about next. That's going to affect how much it slows down the sights. Now, of course, that's why you'll see when people play on a super high sensitivity, but as soon as they scope down with their rifle, it becomes a lot slower to move. This one is all up to personal preference as well. I rock mine on a 0.8, which is, I think, pretty standard here. You can rock it anywhere from 0 to 1. I think 0.8 is pretty standard. Basically, what this is alluding to is your AR shots at distance, at close range, whatever guns you're going to be aimed down sights with. For an assault rifle, you're aimed down sights pretty much all the time. You should be. If you're close enough to be hip firing, you should probably have a different weapon out, a shotgun or an SMG. And that's why I really think that this one is one that you will want to have as a slower speed. 0.8, I don't know if that's really fast. That's just what I've always used. You know, I can only speak on my experience. But this one, there's not really too many advantages to having this high up, because of course, if you have your normal sensitivity high up, you can snap on the target, and then once you aim down sights, you want to have this one to slow it down so you can make sure that you make those shots. There's no harm in slowing this one down, and that can actually help you out. Most professional players on different console video games, you know, first-person shooters, third-person shooters, whatever, they use lower sensitivities, which may be surprising. You'd think, oh, the best players, they can probably handle a high sensitivity, and it's not that they can't handle a high sensitivity, it's just based on percentages, and that's going to make it so you can slow it down, and that's going to make it a lot better for you basically to hit those shots. Thing with the mouse is that with a mouse you can be super duper accurate, and that's why, you know, you don't need to touch that as much if you're a PC player. But for console players like myself, you can only be so accurate with the thumbsticks, and that's why there is aim assist on this game, on console games in general, because it's a lot harder to be accurate with a controller for console gamers than it is with a mouse and keyboard. If you're finding that it's hard to, you know, when you watch your favorite streamers, it seems like they're hitting all their top shots at distance and you just can't seem to make it steady, this is the one you want to lower this one to get better at the game. Next one, this is the controller scope sensitivity. Now this one is going to affect you when you are scoped in. Now the guns you're going to be scoped in with most of the time is going to be a sniper rifle, right? A bolt action sniper rifle, semi-auto sometimes maybe. You might even use the scoped rifle, assault rifle, but you know, for the main part, this is for sniping, and there is benefits to having this one up and down, and this one just depends on the type of sniper that you are. If you don't use snipers, you don't really have to worry about this one, but I think everyone should have some sort of sniping in their arsenal, especially if you're a solo player. Even squads, sniping and duos can actually be really good. Sniping in this game is good, but it's only good if you're good at it. Now, having this higher helps you to be able to snap on targets. You watch PC gamers, it seems like every shot they take is a quick scope. That is because they have really high sensitivities on this, but then again, it's easier to be accurate on the mouse and keyboard. So having this higher will allow you to snap onto targets, to quick scope people a little bit quicker, to do faster peeks and then, you know, drag scopes, I guess you could say. Having this one lower, if you're more of a defensive player sitting in a base trying to line up your snipes at a distance to get the perfect point on them, lower sensitivity would be better with this one. This one is one that's completely up to personal preference, and I personally have it at a 0.8. I literally use pretty standard controls for everything because I find that I am just that. I like a blend of different stuff. Super good builders are probably going to play on 8 or 9 sensitivities, but, you know, miss more shotgun shots on console. That's just how it's going to go. People that are hitting more quick scopes are going to miss more of of those, where you have to slow it down and hit shots at a distance. And that's why there's no best sensitivity in the game. It all depends on your playstyle, and that's what this video is about. There is a best sensitivity for your playstyle, and that's what it depends on. The more aggressive you are, probably the faster you want to have yours. I'm a fairly aggressive player. I think that 5 is fast enough for me. If you're more of a person that, you know, is a slower player, you might want to move it down a little bit. It all depends on your playstyle, and that's all I can say for best sensitivities in this game. Drop a like if you guys made it to the end of the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. That's about it, guys. Have a great night, and I'm out. Peace.